Guys, welcome to Kinto's vibe of today, and it's a rainy season. Here we go, and the rain is raining cats and dogs. As we just democratize and start this kind of a vibe today, I'm gonna be showing you the real G castle in the rainy season, because much of the things are getting a shape, and we are just trying to make sure that everything is sealed permanently. So today, this kind of the video gonna be coming to you as I'm gonna be showing you the real G castle whenever it comes to the rainy season. And much of the people who want to invest in this kind of the houses here, and they're talking about Kinto, this kind of the house gonna be leaking, or we have a solution, and this is the solution. It's just a rainy time, and I'm gonna be showing you what is really meant to this kind of the real time, as we're gonna be making sure that we are getting the real pointer on what is really meant here. Guys, to the moment we are, it's raining. It's raining very heavy rain, and we're gonna be checking on how is this kind of the G castle having an impact, and how is it getting its own water, and how is water being get from the iron sheet and coming to the gutter here. And this is the real vibe of today. This is the amount of water that is coming in. This is the amount of water that's coming in, and you can just check the area is sealed. So there's no water that's coming in through this place here, because the area is sealed completely. So this is the amount of water that is coming in. Guys, everything is so good here, as you can just check. We are having a change, and the best thing is the change is coming. And much of the people were talking about Kinto, how are you making things to have a change? This is a change of the hidden roofs that we are having in Kenya, because right now I'm using the best engineers to make sure that there's no leakage of water onto the house. And for the real fact is, much of the people are still asking about Kinto, where did you get this kind of the mason from, and who is making things, and the engineer, and everything is so fantastic, because water is flowing like so very rarely. Because as you can just see, the iron sheets are so many, and this is the amount of water we are collecting on top of the G castle. So right now we are not storing this kind of the water, because we have not dug much of the tank that will be receiving the whole of this water onto. And that's why you can just check up to today, we are having a lot of water and the rain is raining heavily, and today I'm going to be showing you how it rains and how the effect is always coming out. And this is the effect of making sure that we're going to be getting and knowing. Much of the people are just having a doubt and talking about Kinto, are you really speaking the truth that the house cannot leak? Much of the people, they have that kind of the noto code, talking about it's going to be leaking, it's going to be leaking, it's going to be leaking. But the fact is one, there's no leakage in the G castle, and this is the point. You can just check, guys, water is now coming, and it doesn't leak, and it doesn't have any effect, and it doesn't touch to the iron sheet here. So this is the effect of water, how it's just getting in. guys, on top here also, we have much of the pipings that allow water from the deck to go out and access the outlet of making sure that the water is not attached onto the deck. These are the pipings that penetrate water to the down area, and they're going to be used in terms of storing water onto, it's called ornamental fish pond. You can just check here. It's water now coming out to this kind of the piping, because they are just used here in terms of making sure that they're going to be getting water from the deck. And this is how the G Castle is looking, and it's so huge enough, and they're going to be collecting a lot of water that they're going to be using them in a good way. And this is called water harvesting, and to this kind of the point right today. So we're going to be checking on the water that we are talking about here. How are they coming out? This is the effect of this kind of the water here. Check on it, guys. So there's no much of bulkiness of water that will just fill this kind of the pipe, because from the top to the bottom we don't have any kind of the leakages that are going to be leaking, and this pipe is so huge for it to collect a lot of water and drop it outside here. Because one of the people is talking about, oh Gintu, why couldn't it be so big, all two pipes here? Because it's a 6-inch pipe. So it's going to be so big enough to make sure that there's no water will just be clogging inside of this kind of the pipe, as it's going to be coming out the way it is. So it's having much of the force. Whenever it's going to be raining heavily, we're going to be collecting a lot of water, and very many, and talk about a more quantity of water going to be collected here. So this is the impact of making sure that we are having an engineer who understands himself and knows what he is doing. And already I've checked about, Nasto was talking about, going to be checking the videos. Thank you much, Nasto. He's always been watching to make sure that he's getting a good concept about how is it dealt with, and how the things are coming out with this kind of the time. So we are having a lot of water that's going to be collected from the deck here, and we're going to be making sure that this kind of the fish pond that's going to be here, it's going to be using this kind of water appropriately. So tomorrow we're going to be concreting this area, and we are having much of the time to have it here, and it's going to be so fantastic. So guys, another water that we are collecting, it's coming from my home, inside of my home, and this is the amount of water that's just coming outside here, and it's accessing from this point. We have another water coming from here, and we have another source of water coming from here. So all of them are joining here and coming to this kind of the same spot, because we have a room there whereby we are collecting a lot of water, which is called sedimentation tank, and it's sedimenting much of the sand that are onto this kind of the water coming. So as whenever they're accessing this kind of the pot, they cannot have much of the harm or dirtiness or dirtifying this kind of the small water harvesting pot. When it's just full of water, it will have an access through this kind of the pipe that is here, and it will just access this main tank here, so as you can just have much of the fish being reared here. And this is the best moment. Whenever it's going to be raining, I'm going to be talking about thank you very much Jesus, and we're going to be making it happen. And this is the best moment that we're going to be having here to make sure that we are moving forward. And today I've just invested in myself to talk about it's going to be raining on me, so that I can just bring this kind of the vibe to you as what are we doing and how are we doing it at this kind of the particular time. And it's our best moment and our best regards to much of the people who are watching and talking about the gift we are making a difference. And right now it's raining cats and dogs. Everywhere is water. Every time is water. So right now we're going to be harvesting a lot of water, and we don't want to misuse even a single drop. And that's why we are collecting much of water here, to make sure that we're going to be rearing much of the fish. And we want to rear fish before even the G Castle is over. We're going to be celebrating with the fish in the G Castle here, and we are rearing our own fish here, and we're going to be making sure that everything is so fantastic. Right now, every crop right now is just enjoying the vibe. The maize we have planted, they're enjoying the life. And we are making sure that everything is so fantastic as we're going to be making things happening here. So let's check on another deal. Guys, and to the brick area that we are having some bricks here, we are having a challenge. That's why right now we shall not be having a lot of bricks being formulated, because we have a lot of water again accessing this kind of the spot here. And once upon a time I'll build this area to have a very big fish pond at the backside of our home. And this kind of the area they are digging out and excavating much of the bricks from, it's going to be one of the good moments that are going to be taking and getting some fish behind our home. And we're going to be having a very big dam that will be holding much of the water. So we are having water that's draining from all this kind of the iron sheets, and it's just getting in through much of the sides here. You can just check. These are the bricks, and they have just been formulated. They're just staying here until they get dry, so they can just be stored onto the store. But before they could dry, we don't have anything to do or dealt with them, because they should dry to be stored onto where it's necessary. We are having a lot of water in our home. We can have a very big collecting tank, and we can hold a lot of water. So this is the water that's just dropping all over our home. You can just check right there. So this water is wasted. As far as we are just wasting this kind of water, it's now coming to this kind of the spot we are calling the bricks formulation area. So this is the water that's accessing this kind of area. We have this kind of water that's coming through here. So this kind of the water spots and the brick area, it's going to be clogged with a lot of water. And we are, that's why I'm talking about, we are misusing the water. And that's why right now we are full of water. All the tanks are full of water. And they're just using this kind of water to formulate the bricks here. And the bricks that I took out from the kiln, right now I think they're stored where properly, because it's the best moment that we did. Here it goes. Oh, we are having water that's accessing inside here, and they're going to be destroying much of the bricks inside here. So we have to think twice before we have other things to get. So that's why I've turned back here to see what is the effect of the rain to my own proposal time, so they can just deal with it properly. So this is an effect. Already water is getting onto the bricks here. It will bring some sugar-bagger and irreasonable things onto this kind of the position. Let me take another look. Guys, right now I think the maize are enjoying. Right now the maize are enjoying the vibe, and just now are talking about it. Let's go forward, let's make it happen. Even the greens right now, which are going to the hospital, they are democalizing. You can just see how effective they are, and how greener they are, and how healthy they are. So this is the real effect, and the big challenge of water is now becoming to the where it's called the seed beds. This is the effect of water, and it's now draining much of the seeds and excavating the seeds that were planted. So it's now excavating them out and putting them out. Look at this kind of the seeds. They are being put out with this kind of the rain. So it has a little bit of a problem to the newly planted grains onto the ground. And that is the main effect. But we are having a lot of water, guys, that we're going to be dealt with. Even the nursery beds, they're full of water. You can check it. Wow. So guys, I'm looking forward for this kind of the bigger hole we are having here. as it's collecting a lot of water at each time. So I'm just waiting for this kind of the moment, and it will be filled until it will go to another level. That is what we need at this kind of the particular time. So guys, right now it's a very risky for somebody to come and talk about they're going to be showering to this kind of the spot, because it's too big, it's too deep for somebody to shower here and get some reasonable things. So it will be so delicate and insecurity for the person who think about going to shower here, because it's more than 6 feet. So right now you can see a lot of water, how it's accessing this hole. So this is the amount of water that's accessing here. Wow. So when we were ever looking for the rainwater, and when it rains, we feel the vibe. And when we feel the vibe, we talk about we're going to be doing many things, many things that are going to be coming to our own position. And this is the best moment that we have. Wow. So guys, this is the water that's coming from the deck, and we're going to be putting the pipings here that's going to be draining this water onto the fish pond that's going to be here. And it will be the best moment that we're going to be having from the G Castle here to make sure that everything is going on well. So right now you can even see a lot of water pouring through this kind of the spaces here to make sure that this water gonna be stored where necessary, as it's gonna be going to the fish pond that we're gonna be having around here. So we are having still a lot of water like the ones that is draining through here, and it doesn't have anywhere to go. So you will make sure that we are formulating every water droplet will be used accordingly where necessary and where it should be used. So we are having a lot of water here. Now it's just penetrating and getting out. So it's going to be just already having a strategy right now where this kind of the water that's coming through this kind of the position going to be stored where necessary. But the effect is what? We have not yet planned about it. So you can see a lot of water, how it's just coming out through this position. And we're going to be making sure that we are using this water in a proper way and in a proper channel, how we can just make sure that everything is so fantastic. So guys, this courtesy has come out with its_Ginto to make sure that you are getting the real vibe. We are having a lot of water, and when I will dig here a very big hole, which it should have already been filled. And this is the best moment that before the rain gets off, we should have prepared the biggest hole here that will be collecting water, and it will be having a tower that will be serving water to the two houses, my madam and the G Castle. So, and the other water will be used to get to much of the villagers in the drought season if they don't have water. So that is the main point that we want to come out with. And thank you very much for you watching and coming out to this kind of the position and making things happen. Let's make things happen. So guys, you can just check what is really happening to the G Castle, and I appreciate and I really thank the Lord, because the whole of this effect was brought, and whenever you see the rain, you know the mercy of God is upon us. And the effect we want to drive home is it's because the machete man approached here with the Bible. Maybe he's the one who brought this kind of the rainy and the praise that we are having right now in terms of rain. So as you can gauge and know, is this kind of the house leaking or it's not leaking? So it has happened to have the good time and at a good moment where we are putting the roofing while it's a rainy season, so as you can determine and know, is the house gonna be raining or it's part of the program, the way people are struggling with the hidden roof. And we are using the different techniques to handle and to make sure that everything is put in consideration. As far as everything is in concern, we are talking about this is a new regeneration that we are having. A top notch of the engineers are coming out with their own elevations to make sure that they are putting them onto the configuration and putting down onto an act. And whenever the act is written, everything is put onto the focusment of the construction. And that is the best moment that we are having to make sure that everyone is getting this kind of the platform one-on-one. So the effect of today is this. Much of the people are talking about the hidden roof are having a lot of problems whenever it comes to the rainy time. But the effect is one. We are attaching and knowing. Is it the real fact about because when we can just check on where they have just put this kind of the small concrete here, we want to determine about is it really raining? Look at here, guys. Look at here, guys. It's not raining. It's not raining. That is the fact. Look at here. It's not raining, guys. It's not raining. That is the fact. So we are having a best moment that we're going to be covering it out. So much of the people are having that kind of a problem and talking about, oh, my engineer was this way. And much of the people are using gutters in terms of putting this kind of the channel, which is the concrete gutter. Much of the people are using something which was not good. And the fact whenever it comes out is we are looking for the best alternative for us to use and make sure that whenever we are using it, we are getting the good concept about it, and we can handle our own selves and make things change. And this is what is giving much of the people a problem, and the attacks they're just launching and to get into, it's coming from their jealousy and the perception that they're thinking about are going to be taking everything from them. But the fact is, how can you take some things from other people? The fact is that they don't even think. Their thinking is just behind their buttocks. That is the fact that is coming out, and we're going to be making sure that everything is covered unto you, and you're going to be getting the real concept about how are we making them and how are we going to be handling everything onto the G Castle. So we are intervening in the interventions to make sure that we are getting the content whenever it's raining, whether it's sunny, so as you can just get the content. And whoever want to take the contract and talk about Gintu, I'm going to be making sure that I'm getting your contractor so as you can just build for me another hidden roof. And this is a good plan. Thank you very much of everyone who has been supporting to make sure that the G Castle is coming out. Much of the people are in concern to know how have we reached and which percentage are we and how are you moving in which pace. This is the best moment we are doing and coming out with our own interventions. Keep it tuned, keep it locked. Much of the things still are coming onto the platform. It's an Skogintu. Let's go with it and make a change. Whatever change we're going to be making, it's something which will be progressing, and we're going to be moving to another level. I'm never going back to where I was. I have to go forward and make things come. And if we make things come, we're going to be talking about this is our history time. Let's check on the water and to the new fish pond, how it's raining in.
dogs are hibernating.
How are you? Guys, it's now 1-on-1. The fish pond is having water. So the water is now coming in with an immediate effect. You can now check out. Woo! Guys, this is the fish pond that now this kind of water is full and we are accessing much of water and in. Let me get in so that I can just show you what is the best moment that we're going to be having to this kind of the time. Here we are 1-on-1. Let's go and make it happen. Wow. Guys, this is another best moment because we are already accessing water onto the fish pond here and we're going to be making it happening. Woo! Thank you, the living God. This is the best moment of Gintu and we're going to be making it happen. We're going to be praising the living God because right now water is covering the whole space of this kind of the fish pond. And after every time it's going to be raining, we're going to be accessing water through this pipe and we're going to be having some nets to make sure that there's no much of the refuse that are going to be refusing and from the tank and coming to this kind of the pond that we are having. This is another moment we have. Woo! So this is the best moment. And Gintu is looking forward. Much of water going to be harvesting at my position. And a lot of this water you're checking here, it was going for a loss. Right now, we can control, we can use it, and we can reuse it, and we can free some fish and survive in this water. And wait for that moment. This is another moment coming for rearing fish. It's underscore Gintu position. This is the tanglement. Woo! Hello, beautiful folks, wherever you are. Welcome back. It's underscore Gintu back again to the root of today. And here we are. It's in at underscore Gintu fish pond. Already water has democratized and we are having a lot of water into the fish pond. Woo! We are accessing a lot of water getting into the fish pond. Much of the people will be asking about Gintu, why is the water so dirty? There is no much of hesitation because the water that we're going to be using in terms of rearing fish, it's going to be treated and put fertilizer. It's the first moment that I'm getting into this kind of water because whenever it will be full, there's no one will ever attempt to come inside because it will be so dangerous and you're going to be facing this kind of the place to make sure that everything is so fantastic. Woo! So Gintu going to be rearing fish with an immediate effect. Woo! 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 Exactly, guys, and this is the best moment I was ever looking for because God has made it happen. Right now, even I can rear fish with an immediate effect. Whoever said Gintu will never progress, where are you? Guys, so huge and a lot of water is getting in and getting out is not accessed. Why? We don't have an outlet. Why are we not having an outlet? This water gonna be used in terms of irrigation scheme of the G Castle and even using this water in a very standardful way to make sure that we're gonna be doing something unique. Fantastic moment. Woo! So guys, the fish pond right now it's having much of the stones. So it will be so dangerous for somebody to swim here. Why am I saying so? Most of the people think about, oh, now it's a very big fish pond, we're going to be coming to swim. But at long last, things change. And we might find some scenarios that are not good. But the best moment is that we are having the fish pond right now filled with water. The best moment of rearing fish of it underscore Gintu has reached. Because much of the people said, Gintu, you are stealing much of the fish. Right now I have fish at my farm. I'm going to be transferring much of the fish here. I'll be teaching people how to rear fish from home and how to make sure that you are getting food and sustaining your sustainabilities using your local materials around you to sustain yourself. This is the best moment of the fish pond coming out from Isanascogi to Bula. Guys, we are having a lot of water, and now the fish pond is going to be accessed with a lot of water that we are intentionally looking for, so as we can just rear much of the fish. So this is an inlet from this area here to make sure that we are accessing much of water onto the fish pond, which is now coming out more fantastic. Still, we are having very clean water because we don't want the dirtiness of the sand soil or soil that's going to be accessing to the fish pond there, because we don't have much of the time for it. We have 2 sedimentation tanks that are going to be sedimenting much of the soil or the sand not to access onto our fish pond, and we're going to be making sure that we are having manure, and we're going to be treating that water with manure and enriching it with fertility, because this is an inlet that's getting water onto from the whole of our area here. And I was talking about we're going to be having another bigger dam. Now we're going to not have a fish pond, we're going to be having a dam that's going to be coming from Isanascogi into the courtesy of the G Castle, because this is another moment. We have a very big space here that we are going to be collecting a lot of water, and they're just using this space in terms of bricks formulation. So this is the best moment that we're going to be doing. Whenever it rains, even a single drop from the iron sheet, it's having an impact, and the impact is the fish pond and the food to the fish. And this is the best moment that we're going to be doing to make sure that we are having something standard. And something standard is we're going to be having the talk about the J Castle depending on itself. And the interdependence we are talking about is making sure that the fish pond, talk about the G Castle, is going to be having its own fish, ornamental fish and tilapia fish, and also the catfish. And the moment is people are going to be eating, re-eating, and eating again. Whenever the party of opening the G Castle is going to be there, people will be celebrating and having meals, heavy, compact meals. Start booking your time. Start booking the time for you, so as you can just access the G Castle and celebrate with Gintu. Because whenever it rains, it brings the biggest joy. And the biggest joy it's coming to Gintu is the part of making sure that everything is democratizing to Gintu. This is another moment of happiness, and God has made it happen, because very, very soon you will see us initiating and having a new ornamental fish pond coming out very soon. And also, it's very, very soon you will see us having the fish being transferred and reallocated, and we having the new fish stored onto a new fish pond of the G Castle. This is the moment we have ever been looking for, and God has made it, because whenever the rain is raining, the joy is being filled onto our own brains and our almighty living God. Kudos to you and respect to every time whenever you are making this kind of the things to come to us. And it's not that we are so the best, but God knows the intention, because if you're going to be having food here, everybody going to be enjoying. People will not be hungry. Children will not be hungry. And we're going to be even selling the fish, even reallocating the fish to much of the vulnerable, whoever will be in need of getting food. That is the courtesy of Gintu, and we're going to be making things of the agriculture, because agriculture is the backbone of the economy of Kenya. 50% of the economy of Kenya is fed with agriculture. Why do we want us to fail in agriculture? It will be something which is dismissiful, and it will be something which is disgusting. As we make things happen, we're going to be talking about we are making a change. And a change, whenever it's coming, nobody will ever style, nobody will ever stop the change not to come. It's like nobody can stop reggae. This is the best moment we are having, and it's a breaking news that we are having at the G Castle here. So the stones that are here, they're going to be covered all of it, and the fish going to be now being reared here. It's just I'm waiting for only 0.9 meters to 1.2 meters above, and the water will be just enough for rearing much of the fish. And here we have pawpaw plants. We have pawpaw plants here that are going to be having the green zone very, very fantastic. So here I can just see we are just moving inside because of the area is now compacting itself. So it was not heavily compacted, so it's now having the compactment. Here we go. And this is the moment we are ever waiting for. Thank you, Lord. Let's make it happen, and this is the moment. And guys, thank you very much for everyone who has been tuned and locked in, watching the video entirely, and also subscribing, liking, and sharing, because it has not been easy for us to reach this far end. Nobody was ever doubting, Gintu, you are on the point, because when I said about I'm going to be plastering this kind of the fish pond, some of the people are thinking about, oh, Gintu maybe is bragging. But today, we are having water accessing here. So this kind of the water that's accessing here, we're going to be using it more correctly, and we're going to be rearing much of the fish, which will be so effective unto the ecosystem and the people who are being around us here. This is the good moment. Let's make it happen and support Gintu, so as you can just make sure that things are democratizing. I'm going to be getting too much of the fish ponds there, so that I can just get you the content and I'll tell you what's going to be coming next and how the things are going to be coming next and how are they coming, because already I have the nets to make sure that if I'm going to be attacked with this kind of the predators birds, there's nothing they can just get. I want to be prepared more fantastic. And this was the moment that I was waiting for. I will be teaching much of the people on rearing of fish from your comfort zone. And also, I'm going to be teaching much of the people how to make money outside there. If people will be following me, the young generation who are following Gintu, they'll just learn much of the things and how to make themselves move and acclimatize themselves with much of the history time that we are living. Because right now, it's not what you are learning to, but what is just behind you and forward of you. Let's make the living, let's make the change, let's make everything coming out to you. Respect, kudos, and this is the moment.